I mean, the fact that it's possible that going at first in your group, being the top seed, actually screws you. So
yeah, I feel like, I'll be honest, I'm pretty sure both Oreo and Starduck want to avoid Piglet. So
exactly, yeah.
we'll see how that goes. Again, Starduck still did qualify anyway, just gonna be the bottom, the worst seed possible out of these four. And now we're gonna find out who comes second and third.
Yep, this is our final best of 5 for ANZ Champs. It's gonna be the last. Wait. Yeah, it's the last one because we didn't do the. Yeah. Okay. Well then, we are gonna be coming up here, and we are gonna be kicking it off on Curious Minds. We call it Curious Minds because of the Kumon question mark. I don't know. It might be more Vietnamese thing. What's the thing? We have here in the top left corner of the map, spawning all the way to the top left. We have the green Zerg player coming down from the lane of Melbourne, way down the south, mate. He is going to be representing Clan Opus B with Peppy.
And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Curious Minds LE, we have his teammates. Also representing Opus V, we have the Australian Terran player. It is Azure. In a rematch.
Yeah, I mean, they played in the... It wasn't a qualifying match yet. Yes,
it was a qualifying match.
Oh yeah, it was a qualifying match, okay. Yeah, they played in the qualifying match yesterday. It was very, very close. Azure got up to 2 maps. It was 2-1. And then Peppy came from behind and just secured his own place and knocked Azure down to that lower bracket. It was a very tough fight. I don't think this is going to be as one-sided as Peppy versus Oreo. Gotta be honest.
100%. So for those who were not here, I highly recommend watching the VODs of yesterday's broadcast. Azure and Peppy went all the way to the ace match. It ended in an unfortunate way. If you remember, Azure kind of got a build order.
He got built. It was the Roach Rush, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the build order loss. It was a Roach Rush against the masked Blue Flame Hellion. Oh my god. Meanwhile, Azure maybe still waking up a little bit, getting used to his hotkeys, as we did see a reactive first actually from Azure.
Yeah, and he's continued to pump out Marines as well from this. It's not going to be a 2-on-1 whatsoever because, yeah, he is finishing up the factory now. I'm curious, like a mind.
I'm curious as well as to how this build will really come to fruition. I'm feeling, I could be wrong, but I'm feeling an armory with this because we're going to have a massive amount of Marines to work with. We do see the add-on switch for these Hellions. We'll see if there's going to be like a bit of a buyer Hellion push as Azure. He's already moving out a little bit here, just making sure Peppy isn't around to scout or push in or anything like that. Oh.
Ling does not sneak in, but now the Lings will.
Yeah, the Lings will be able to slip on by. Meanwhile, the wall up. Oh,
is a wall now, and I mean anyway, the Hellions roast the Lings before they can really connect. Medevac coming out, and yep, it's looking much more likely that we're going to see that armory coming down.
Yeah, we'll see. Meanwhile, Peppy is going for a Roach one. Does love to play with his Roaches, and this is kind of exactly what you want against Hellions. Obviously, they don't scale well into that mid game, but they will be perfectly fine to defend against this initial push if he's able to get them out in time.
Just a little bit of a big if. You know, it's highly possible that, okay, there's the armory. I was going to say, you know, Azure might decide to just go across the map with Hellions and not Elbads, but yeah.
But we're going to have a cost the moment there where Azure didn't get the armory. But again, the build, it's all coming together. It all makes sense. This will hit pretty hard. Looking at the unit tab, what does Peppy have to defend? No Lings at the moment, just a handful of Queens. But Roaches are going to be coming out, and they're going to be popping out just in time here, and he may be able to save his third.
Yeah, the army's still a little ways off. There is going to be a Liberator coming in to help reinforce this. That's a really good move, actually, against Roaches specifically, especially on Curious Minds. Very narrow hallways.
Yeah, and you know what? These Queens, they don't have enough energy for Transfuse. One Queen already falling here, but it looks like there's plenty here to defend, especially with the reinforcing Roaches. Peppy does hold on to his third base, and Azure is deflected.
For now, he really wants to make use of all these Helvets, man. Let's wait for that Liberator to come into position.
Yeah, Liberator is on the way, looking to be rallied over towards that natural base, maybe to try and pull his opponent's attention apart. Meanwhile, here we go, the Hellbats are pushing in. But again, with Roaches, like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's like, this is a lot of Hellbats, but not that many Roaches, but it still takes a long time for Hellbats to kill Roaches.
Meanwhile, finally, for the first time this game, Peppy dives into the main base. He will be able to scout the infrastructure, confirming that we do have a couple more Raxes being thrown down. He also saw the third base at the natural, so he knows that Azure is, you know, he's pivoting away from this. He is transitioning.
Yeah, it's not an all-in by any means, but yeah, Azure definitely still wants to get some damage done, and this is a beautiful move here. It's like he's herding goats, but the goats are drones.
Oh, they're lined up! Oh, God! We'll see if they get the volley up. And oh, we see a last-minute split there by Peppy. He will be able to keep the majority of his drones alive. Oh.
Yeah, only 5 drones going down. That's could have definitely been a lot worse here.
Yeah, I mean, mate, we saw them all line up. You know, there's a world out there where the juiciest barbecue would have been taking place, but it is not this world. Peppy, he does hold on, keep working on his roaches, working on roach speed, and ooh, he even throws down a spire.
Huh. I like it. It's a good way of getting the map control.
Yeah.
Especially since I highly doubt that Azure, especially after going roaches like that, right? This is probably the last thing on Azure's mind.
Yeah, like, it's not the most orthodox thing to go roaches into mutas, but it does seem to be the case for Peppy. Our eyes are on Azure, whether or not he'll be able to scout this. A couple of medevacs are coming out, so I imagine he's going to be maybe going for a couple of drops, and when he does, we'll see what he's able to scout, as at the moment he is very much so in the dark.
I get it.
What? What? Dark does like to make roaches.
Yeah. Just building up to the next phase of the game. Just a very massive shift away from roaches and ravagers, or I guess not even ravagers, into Lingbane, potentially Muta, but that's a very early infestation pick coming down from Peppy.
You really want Corruptors, don't you?
I really do.
You wanted them earlier as well in the ZvT. But Mutas are indeed coming out to help gain that map control, to help maybe deal some damage across the map. We do, of course, have 5 Mutas on the way, enough to one-shot those SCVs. And so far, Azure is doing a decent job at denying creep, but again, he still hasn't been able to go in, and we still haven't seen a scan to confirm the tech.
Research is finished.
Yeah, he's making a lot of assumptions right now based on very little information.
He's getting ready for Borrowed Roaches as well.
Yes. Well, funnily enough, the missile turrets will help him against the Mutas too. So
I guess so. I mean, he has one in between the bases, but none in the mineral lines. That's what I'm worried about. Mate, this screams like he's preparing for a Go-Go Joey. Like, remember the old GPOs where Go-Go Joe would just mass roaches and just make nothing but roaches and somehow win?
Can really tell that Go-Go Joey has messed up Azure's psyche a little bit. So that should be a little bit of a tell. He doesn't see that many roaches, and now this is absolutely a tell. 5 Mutas, rock on up.
Yeah, it's a bit of a feels bad, man. Again, there was no tell for this, or Azure had no idea that Mutas were on the way. 3 SCVs already going down. Oh my god, a little bit of his micro though. Azure picks off the Mutas.
Yeah, I mean, there weren't that many of them to begin with, but yeah, he lost about 3 or 4 Mutalists for only 3 SCVs. That's unfortunate to say the least. And now Azure is feeling confident. He's pushing across the map. Peppy now turning every single roach into a Ravager because he needs some form of AoE. He doesn't have
he needs
Banelings
ready. Yeah, like he has a Baneling nest. He has Baneling speed. Fun fact, but 0 Banelings. He just has Ling and Ravager. He needs the mace up, and there we go. They're being morphed in now, but it's a little bit too late. Azure, he's pushing off into creep.
The last of the Mutas taken out, and you know, once again, Azure feeling pretty confident to move in here. I like this. He's not overextending at all. He knows that his tank count did take a couple of hits, so he has to regroup before making any major moves.
Yeah, exactly. He warn't to be pushing in, especially because he did spot all of those Banelings. Meanwhile, at the same time, Peppy's getting ready for a massive run by. What do we have here at home to defend? We have a missile turret, and that is it. The reinforcements are all coming out with the army. The surround!
Like so, the surrounding's coming in!
Oh god, the tank's gonna be going down. The Lings clean everything up. The Banelings connect with the army as well, but that's all the Banelings, so Azure can keep on going. But at the same time, we do have that Ling run by at the third base.
Yeah, unfortunately for Peppy, most of his Banelings were off of creep, so weren't able to really utilize the maximum amount of their speed. Azure starting to dip on in. Again, no Banelings, no Roaches. It's just a handful of Ravagers here, and that's not a threat at all.
I mean, he's pretty all in. Like, look at the worker count. He has half the workers of his opponent. The reinforcements coming in. Slowly but surely, the Marines are being cleaned up. The Biles even almost connecting with those medevacs, and Peppy holds without losing any of his workers.
Ooh. Now it's the opportunity to, morph in a couple of Banelings. If there was ever an opportunity for Azure to dip in and deal a ton of damage, it was then. It's hard to see him reciprocating now.
Yeah, it's one of those things where Azure traded fairly well, all things considered, right? Like, he got all the Ravagers, or the majority of the Ravagers. He traded well against all those Lings. It's just a shame that he lost so many SCVs in the process. And he is crippled now. Like, Peppy, all he has to do is make units. He's already got Hive Tech. He's working on an Ultra Cavern.
This is when you just say F it and pull the boys.
Oh god, against Zerg on Fort. This isn't TVP, mate. I wish it was. Shaking my head, Starduck. You could have been here.
You could have prevented this.
You could have stopped this, mate. Here we go. Peppy's pushing in once again, maybe a little bit prematurely, but we have a lot of Banelings behind this. All off creep, though.
Yeah, and there's a single tank in the back line. Azure doing a really good job of sniping them as well, so Peppy has realized, wait a minute. I'm just going to delay that fourth base and back away. I do not need to throw away my lead.
Yeah, and I respect it, mate. I respect it. He will back up. He has to deal with these drops. The drops, at least they're keeping the attention of Peppy back at home. But again, is there a real answer to these ultras? Like, we need ghosts, we need lives, we need marauders. Right now, we just have pure marine tank.
Yeah, not the most sophisticated army in the world, but it's kind of the only one that Azure can afford right now. Ultralists are about to pop, and there's no easy answer to them.
They do get scouted. You know, that is a bit of a plus here for Azure, so he's well aware of the ultras that are going to be coming out across the map. Ooh, I'll pick up here with this job.
Once again, Azure just trading very, very efficiently, but not really able to deal much impactful damage.
Yeah, I mean, he's looking for it. He wants it so badly as he's trying to control two drops at once. He has started Marauder production to help against these ultras. And Peppy, I don't know if you want to be pushing out now. He only has one ultra.
Yeah, one ultra very, very far off of creep. The Banelings do connect, but they connect mostly on Marauders and tanks, it seems. So now, here's an opportunity for Azure to go all the way to Peppy's side of the map. Run by coming down, but there are tanks here.
This time Azure, he responds, he keeps his SCVs alive. I didn't realize how oversaturated he was here, and unfortunately he was in the middle of pushing out, and there were very few Banelings across the map. There was a lot of potential for Azure to deal damage, but he gets pulled all the way back home.
Yeah, a little unfortunate here for a blue Terran player. But this has bought him some time. He is rebuilding. He's about to get 3-3. So yeah, there's still opportunity here for Azure.
Yeah, and now he's here. He looks like he will be able to establish this fourth base, but the Banelings just now morph in here. So pushing into the Zerg army is going to be that much more difficult. Peppy getting ready for another one of these run-bys.
Yeah, much smaller one this time, so we'll see if that, puts an even bigger dent in Azure's economy. Peppy is now maxed out, but I'm very impressed for Azure here. He's not too far behind either. It's a 190 out of 200.
Yeah, he's been able to recover quite well. I'm really concerned about how spread out his army is. The majority of the army is at the fourth base. He's still here at the third.
Siege up a little bit too late. But maybe just one too many Banelings in this army. Not with the blinding cloud. Anything to say about that?
Yeah, oh my god, there's just so much on the ground. The ultras, they close the distance. There are still roaches from the early game as well. We even have a couple of yoinks just to help feed things up, and Peppy swallows up Azure's army.
It was honestly a really nice defensive setup with all the tanks and all the Marauders, but Azure didn't have an answer to those Vipers or to those blinding clouds.
Yeah, unfortunately, we didn't have any Venn diagrams. Like Azure, he never had any sensor towers, so he never knew where the army was. He was very out of position for that fight. Otherwise, it could have gone differently. He would have been able to hold on, and Peppy just maintains this lead.
Now he just takes 6 base. Yep, might as well. Azure's still struggling to secure his 4 bases.
Yeah, I mean, the third base is here. Meanwhile, Peppy's getting himself up, set up for another one of these pushes. And there's just not a lot of tanks, mate. There's only 2. Only 1.
Only 1. Yeah. And that's gonna get yoinked like so. Now there's only 0.
Yeah, only none, mate, as the Ultras do get to top of the third base. Azure, he's been kiting so well with his main army, but he just doesn't have the numbers. He just can't keep up. He can't be everywhere he needs to be. The tanks are going to take it out again.
You do not want to be a tank driver in this game. Is all I'm gonna say. Azure fighting his heart out, but realizes that the opportunity has passed. GG. Peppy takes game number 1.
GG, well played. And I was a little bit concerned for Peppy, especially after our first series of the day. I was afraid that maybe his mentality would be a little bit distraught after getting 3-0'd in such a fashion. But we can see here, nah, mate, he is a veteran. He has plenty of experience. He shakes that loss off. Different matchup, different player. Here in game 1, looking quite solid.
Very solid, yeah. Azure as well, in all fairness, but yeah, I think it really does come down to that old adage where you have 2 players who are very, very close, neck and neck in terms of their level, in terms of their in terms of their form. The player who makes the first mistake is the player who's unfortunately going to end up losing. And in this game, it was Azure, unfortunately.
Yeah. There were moments though there where maybe he could come back, right? His counterattacks, there were multiple moments where Peppy didn't really have banelings ready for these pushes, and he was left vulnerable. Unfortunately, despite the aggression from Azure, he still never really got into a mineral line. He was never really able to touch the economy of Peppy.
That's a buffer of having creep, I suppose. Yeah, Yeah, I almost feel like there were 1 or 2 points in that game where Azure was being a little too cautious, but yeah, I can't say I really blame him considering what his economy was looking like at that point. And with that, we are going to be continuing on to Leningrad LE. I remember Leningrad back in the day. All the Dolorados and the Sargrad in Australia. We got the dingoes on this map, and that is why I do enjoy Leningrad so much. Look at the dingoes. Watching the mineral lines walking about too. Yeah, mate. The bottom right hand corner on the map, spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we got the blue. Darren player playing in his colour this time. He is, of course, going to be representing Opus V team. We have Azure. Hi.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Leningrad ALE, going for a pool first opening, we have the Australian Azure player himself representing Opus V, currently leading this series 1-0. It is Peppy.
Good morning, Chase. Over here in the chat.
Good morning, Chase. I also want to give a bit of shout out to Oreo. We were kind of contemplating the status, the mind of Oreo earlier going into ANZ Champs, and he even said it here in the chat. Give me Piglet. I just want to avoid Pez.
Ooh, Pez or Tez is what I want to know.
True. I mean, Pez did say that if he played Oreo, he would be playing Protoss. And I think historically Pez has a 100% win rate against Oreo or something like that. Like, they haven't played too often.
Yeah. Also, it's just the fact that, I mean, I'm not sure what his Protoss is looking at right now, but for the longest time, 2019, 2020, 2021, Pez was straight up the best PvZ player in the entire region. Not just ANZ, but I would say ANZ /C. C/OCE.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like,
Not a Zerg player alive who could take him out.
yeah, we said this
It's
all
not
the
that
time.
scary.
Like, he had the best PVZ, better than even Probe, even when he was in form. So Pez is a terrifying opponent to have, and it sounds like Oreo, having the #1 seed, will indeed avoid Pez.
Haha!
Let's go. Oh god.
This is how we do it.
Yeah, exactly. We'll have a look at the groups after this, and we'll have a look at where. I don't even think it's a group. I think it's a bracket. We'll see where
no,
everyone lies.
there's a group stage and a bracket.
Oh, okay.
And JSL style.
Mm.
Or I guess DreamHack style. Because it's 2
Yeah.
groups. Unless, wait, I'll double check Wikipedia real quick.
Yeah, two groups. XGSL
Yeah.
feels bad, man. Feels bad.
Oh, right. Yeah. It's funny, it feels like GSL is now using the previous ANZ Champs format, and now ANZ Champs is using the previous GSL format. Nice pick off here with the Reaper.
Yeah, the Reaper gives up his life, but he does snipe one drone. Was that worth it? I mean, the Reaper also confirmed the timing of the third base, also confirmed there were no additional gases taken, but as soon as the Reaper dies, Peppy throws down a Roach Warren again.
Not a straight up Roach Rush like we saw yesterday. And this time, Azure, yeah, he does have the tech lab on the factory. Not the factory, sorry, the starport. Oh no, but he's getting a few. This isn't gonna be for Banshees.
Hey, you know what this is for,
This
mate?
isn't gonna be for Banshees.
Rage
This is
Live,
plus
let's
one
go.
Liberators. Ah.
Let's go. What's important though is that Azure, he just scouted the Roach Warren. He has just barely seen it with his Hellions. And on top of that, as you said, this was not an early Roach Warren. It was a little bit later. So I think it's okay. I don't think Azure had to rush out Banshees or anything. Like, he is safe and sound. And I think he is going to get this BC up and running.
Yeah, it's not a Roach Rush or anything like that. It's hyperbolizing a little bit, but yeah, it is going to be tough dealing with those roaches. We were mentioning it yesterday and talking about how Azure is a very, very sort of well-rounded player. And now I have to, a player who has a lot of different styles, and now I have to wonder, does he feel like going BC mech this time? Because he has not stopped that Hellion production.
I would not be opposed
all.
to it. I mean, we don't have any kind of add-on on this Rax. We will not be seeing Stim. I do think, yep, there we go. Second factory is thrown down. Yaku, we can smell mech a mile away, man. Oh. Oh god, but Peppy can as well, as he's diving in and there's no anti-air, so Peppy with a very solid scout will confirm the mech.
We have one Marine, and that's the only thing that shoots up right now. Now we have the BC, but yeah, the BC also reveals its hand pretty quickly. Still a decent harassment unit if you can get a couple of BCs later on in the game, but yeah, the element of surprise in the early game is kind of ruined with this.
Exactly, especially because the Queen's already in position. Oh, we do have enough energy for one. Transfuse will barely keep all these Queens alive. Azure doesn't deal any damage here with his first BC, but it's still alive. And hey, there's another BC on the horizon.
Yeah, not too far off, Yamato not researched yet.
Oh.
Azure still does have to be a little bit careful here. He does have a recall available on this one BC, but he does have all these Hellions coming in. Oh, the sandwich!
Oh,
that was a barbecue sandwich if I had ever seen one.
He's doing it again!
Oh, this is... oh.
There's no way in, there's no way out. 2 mineral lights go down!
Oh.
Yeah, everyone, Yaku was a Terran player and he just...
have died. I've died and gone to heaven as well.
The euphoria is real.
I have achieved pure ecstasy. Ecstasy.
You can't even speak anymore, man. That's how intense it was. 26 drones go down. A solid aye. The Queens, they were a little bit too distracted trying to deal with that BC. The wall was not a wall. The roaches were not here where they needed to be. And Azure roasts up those mineral lines.
Yeah, Peppy has now just about recovered. He has produced back all of those drones he lost. But look at the army supply difference. There should really be a point in the game where the Zerg player is overtaking the Terran player a little bit in that, in terms of both supplies, but yeah, he just is not, because he had to remake all those lings. Not lings, drones.
This is honestly like pretty crucial as well, because this second BC, as apparently the first BC fell, already picked off 2 of the queens, is denying a bunch of creep, another BC is on the horizon, and Azure, all that he spent across the map were Hellions, like minerals, like that's fine, he can afford to lose them. That tank count is getting even higher. Same can be said for those Cyclones.
Oh yeah. He's remaking Hellions. Get ready for round 2.
He's hungry, mate. He wants more.
Mouth-watering.
Meanwhile, Peppy is approaching this in a little bit of a different manner. Very interesting here. He threw down a Hydra Den, so he is going straight into Hydras. I don't see a Lurker Den yet. If I'm not mistaken, there is no Infestation Pit either. So no Hive, just Roach Hydra. Huh.
Alrighty then, that's one way of dealing with mech, but not sure if it's a particularly good way of dealing with mech either. I actually do want a little bit of anti-air here that you can get with the Hydras and then rely a little bit more on Roach Ravager, but at the same time, it's kind of important to go for Hive Tech regardless.
Peppy, you have my attention. We'll see how this is going to work, because again, almost a pure Hydra army here is moving out across the map. Very squishy, very vulnerable to tank fire, but also quite mobile and versatile. So we'll see how this does as he's pushing in towards that third base. Azure has no idea. Once again, he does not have a sense tower. His army, for the most part, is not in position.
Yeah, only a couple of tanks in the back line able to really get in range of all these units. Peppy finding a very good spot to really exploit here, where the tanks cannot shoot.
Yeah, I love the whole position being used here on these Hydras. They're slowly chipping away at the CC. At the same time, bit of a Hellion run by, but no, he is denied by reinforcements. But towards the north, another Hellion run by.
Yeah, I just realized Peppy's on 2-2 and Azure's on 0-0.
Yeah, he's not really one to really work on his upgrades, but oh my god, no, not again! Not again, no!
Another line of drones just roasted up.
I just realized he's doing all of this without Blue Flame as well.
Yeah.
Oh my god. As 8 more drones go down, almost the entire army of Peppy does turn around as well, just to make sure that he's able to establish this 4th base and get it up and running. But mate, Azure, look how far ahead he is in the supply. He's got 85 SCVs, he's perfectly fine, and he throws down a Sensor Tower. He does it.
That's what we were missing in game number 1. Even securing the 4th base now, and yeah. It's a very nice lead that Azure has secured, but we'll see what Peppy does to make him give up this lead.
Yeah, I mean, you know, nice pickup. Peppy does catch a decent amount of these Hellions. He's honestly trading surprisingly well here, especially because he is fighting outside of range of all these tanks. But at the same time, he's still just making nothing but Hydras. He's going Hydra Viper, mate. Oh my god.
Huh. Well, Parabomb is alright.
I mean, ideally, yoinks, you know, some blinding clouds as well on those tanks. We do see one BC gets picked off.
Yeah, the other one able to teleport away. All the way back home.
Just barely, as Azure is going for an interesting army here. Again, mainly tanks, Cyclone, Hellion. Yeah, hasn't stopped those BCs. What's important is that this time he does have Yamato, and he did just get Blue Flame. Nice.
Pretty good. So he's just about rounding off his army now. Still needs a little bit of time to get his, you know, weapons upgrades and whatnot up and running, but for the most part, Azure is just about reach his end game composition.
Yeah, despite that, though, oh no, a bit of a missed rally here. A decent amount of Hydras are donated for free. Not like this. Peppy, Hydras are honestly pretty expensive. You cannot afford to lose them like this. Oh, same could be said for the BCs.
Yeah, one after the other. Well, still only still hasn't lost that many BCs in the grand scheme of things, but he also hasn't produced that many BCs, so.
Yeah, it looks like he's stopped for the time being, which is understandable because of the sheer amount of anti-air, the sheer amount of hydras that there are. BCs aren't necessarily what you want right now. But regardless, like, no, I feel like I'm still not convinced by this army. But we'll see. We'll see if Peppy can show me, as he's even getting link speed. I didn't even realize that he skipped it.
Huh. Well, I guess I didn't Peppy till now.
Oh god, so Ling, Hydra, I want to say that, but we have a couple of roaches as well to help buffer for the time being. Meanwhile, oh my god, the Yamato with the Vipers! No!
But Yamato are the same Viper, it seems. One BC will go down at the cost of one of those Vipers, so pretty worth it so far.
Was that 2 Yamatos and 1 Viper, or did the Abduct cancel the second Yamato?
That might also be what happened.
Yeah,
does Abduct cancel Yamato?
These are the questions that we need answers to. We need Chase, get on it.
Test it out.
Test
now.
It out, mate. Here we go. As Azure, he is pushing out across map. He's finally maxed out with his gigantic mech army. Oh boy, and we'll see how good these blinding clouds are going to be. We'll see how good the splits are on these tanks as well. Like, he cannot bunch them up. Otherwise, it's only going to take a handful of blinding clouds to just make them inert. Uh-oh. Vipers are coming in.
And the blinding clouds are coming out. Pretty dang good. Still a lot of firepower behind these cyclones, but not enough to make up for all of these inert tanks.
Yeah,
fantastic concave as well.
Exactly. This is what I was worried about. Azure, he kept them all bunched up. 3 blinding clouds is all that Peppy needed. He cleans up the entire army. And despite the lead that Azure had earlier, his tank count was completely reset.
Yeah, his tank count got reset. He lost every single one of his Hellions. Almost loses a BC as well. That 4th base doesn't even survive. And once again, Peppy economically is doing all right. He's not as well as Azure at the moment, but he's not really starving either.
Yeah. Oh god, meanwhile we see a scan. Azure just confirming that we do have a 5th base up here for Peppy as well. And mate, things are going to slow down again. I mean, thankfully Azure's economy has been left untouched, so you know, he has a decent amount of production here. He's able to rebuild his army. It took him a while, but now he's back. Peppy, not so much. Uh-oh.
Yeah, also Peppy is also missing out a little bit on some production, but yeah, he definitely needs that right now. Azure learning his lesson from last time. He does spread out his tanks very, very nicely.
Oh, look at that. Beautiful, mate. You can't fool Azure twice. Meanwhile, the Hydras are going to try and shock around, but no, it is a little bit too late. This base is forfeit.
That scan was so important for Azure.
Oh god, he wants the Vipers. We do have a Yoink, but a Yoink on a Cyclone of all things. I'm sure he wanted a tank. The Vipers also don't have that much energy left.
Yeah, they're very quickly starting to run out. The Hydras as well are starting to lose ground. GG is called. Azure ties up that series sideways 1-1.
GG, well played. Despite taking a pretty bad fight in the middle of the map, there's a reason why I wasn't too convinced with Peppy's army. Going mass Hydra Viper like that, it is very expensive of an army. It takes a lot of gas to really get going. And I feel like the fight that Peppy had, that's the kind of fight that you need, actually, if you want to take an engagement. Without that, without the mass blinding clouds and without the surround, it's really not the most dependable army against a mass tank mech army.
Yeah, we even saw that once when Peppy was able to get that surround and those blinding clouds off. He just completely crushed Azure, but yeah, you don't want to be relying on doing that over and over and over again because, well, it's just not a reliable phenomenon. You know, you gotta expect that your Terran opponent is gonna adapt and make sure that they don't get themselves in those positions.
Yeah. I can also see chat reacting to what just happened as well. He's like, wait, hold on. Did the Abduct just cancel the Yamato? I like how even Oreo and Chase don't know for certain either.
Yeah.
It's like, apparently that's an interaction that happens.
Chase, we need the confirmation though.
And yeah, again, a massive shout out to ARJ Skater. Of course, he is one of our big supporters from the land of the Americas. And the reason why he has incentive to stay up, at least after this series, is because we do have that replay to cast later.
We should, whatchamacallit, extend the what's-it. But regardless, we're going to be continuing our series. We should ask Azure and Peppy to just go mech versus Sky Zerg every game.
Oh god.
Extend it all, mate. But regardless, we are going to be continuing our series now at 2,000 atmospheres. LE, we're of course in the top right-hand corner map, spawning all the way to the top right-hand corner. We have a blue Terran player coming out from the land of Brisbane. He is the Prince of Brisbane. He is representing Team Opus V. He is Azure.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of 2,000 atmospheres LE, we have the Australian Zerg player representing Team Opus V. Dropping that last game, now here tied up in this series. Can he take a lead? It is Peppy.
Oh.
As this time a much more standard hatch gas pool opening from Peppy. Let's go.
Yeah.
I think for the first time this series.
I can barely remember when I went on to game 1 2, if I'm being honest with you.
Last game it was a pool first. The game before that it was god, I want to say it was a pool first as well, but I can't quite remember. It's been a long day of StarCraft. It's been a long day. We've been casting since the early hours. Now we're going deep into the night.
We are. We're going from your background to my background.
We are, mate. We are. Oh god. And I'm a little bit scared because I don't know about you, but I do kind of favor Azure's mech period in this matchup. Would typically, even in the GPO days, whenever he would take games or series off of Miyamika and Gogo Joey, it would be off of the back of mech. And I'm a little bit scared because that does kind of tend to lean towards longer games.
Yeah. Especially if you go all the way to the ace match here.
Yeah. Oh boy. Everyone strap yourselves in, people. Going get a long ride.
But I think it's time for a little bit more bio come out here from Azure. Old mate Krug, I mean, he does like to alternate.
Yeah, he does. So we'll see if he does just that. Meanwhile, Azure does pick off one drone here with his Reaper. Isn't able to lay that third base, unfortunately, but does get some damage done regardless. Oh my god.
He gets the tumor. Nicely dealt. He keeps the Reaper alive, just being as annoying as he can.
Like, Vindicta, is that you? I was gonna say Beyond, but I feel like Vindicta is more apt nowadays.
Yeah. Old Miggy.
Jesus Christ, I thought he went to bed, but he is here in form, just kind of bullying the Zerg a little bit. Has, you know, again, not the most amount of damage, but it is a little bit impactful as, oh my god, Peppy goes for a very fast lair.
This hasn't been scouted, has it?
Oh.
Just keeping my eye out for a potential Roach Warren coming down.
Yeah, we'll see what the plan is here. Meanwhile, Azure actually doing going for something crazy himself, going for a very fast concussive shell.
Funnily enough, is exactly what you want against the Roach Warren that Peppy's throwing down.
Yeah. Oh god, so here we go. So this should be for a Marauder Hellbat push. This was very popular last year. For a period, we saw it quite a bit, and then it kind of fell out of favor just because it became a little bit too common, and a lot of Zerg players would kind of blindly respond and be able to deal with it. Peppy, I kind of like his position though, because again, it's Hellbat Marauder, so Ling Roach is kind of what you want. Kind of.
Yeah, pretty much exactly what you want.
Yeah. So we're going to have a very interesting dynamic here as the armory is on the way again for those Hellbats. Azure hasn't been able to scout anything here in the natural base as Peppy has cut workers. Oh god, he's going for his own all-in, and I think Peppy's going to come out on top, mate.
We're getting a repeat of what we saw yesterday. Much different timing coming out from Peppy, of course, but yeah, very much the same dynamic that it's gonna come down. Peppy just needs to hold this and then go for a counterattack, which honestly shouldn't be too difficult.
Yeah, here we go. A couple of Marauders are dropped down, and you know what? They can do a decent amount of damage to these Roaches, but we have Queens, we have Roaches, we have Lings closing distance as well. Can these Marauders really hold the line? Oh.
And Marauders being a little bit distracted, they're actually attacking the Queen rather than, you know, the Roaches. So, yep, Peppy able to clear this up. Doesn't want to suicide his army across the map yet, though.
He's waiting for Roach speed. He's going to zoom across the map. And the problem is that because of this build, there's no tanks. The first tank is on the way. Azure recognizes how desperately he needs a tank. He's working on a bunker as well. 2 bunkers even on the low ground. Can he defend? Can he hold? Because Peppy, man, he's coming.
And he don't stop coming.
Coming and he won't stop coming. 2K atmospheres, let's go. Oh god, this is terrifying, especially because the Liberator is leaving. It's going across the map. I mean, there's a lot of potential. It could deal a lot of damage. You know, the Queens are quite limited here, but at the same time, he needs to focus on his defenses at home. The first tank comes out.
And first tech siege is up. They're still looking fine.
We have high ground vision, mate.
Peppy.
We have high ground vision. We have high ground vision. We have high ground vision. The Biles Puppy. Ah!
Enough Biles to take out a tank and then some, and now the Roaches are just streaming on in. This is looking pretty tough, but it's not. But he's not out of this yet, Azure. I mean,
how does Peppy know when to do this? By the way, every time. Oh god, he's pushing up into the main base once again. The tank is gonna get biled down. He breaks through into the main. The wall is no longer a wall. Boys are being pulled left and right. At the same time, Liberator is dealing some damage across the map, but nowhere near as much as this Roach Ravager.
Yeah, everything's about to go down, but Azure is holding a little bit. A lot of SCVs starting to fall too, though, so Azure may survive, but will he live?
No. As the Roach reinforcements keep on coming in. I mean, the tank is trying to hold as best he can, is on siege. We have a little bit of cheeky micro there by Azure. He's doing the best he can to hold on, but there's only so much you can do. Force to stay on one base, lift up the natural.
Flies back in while Peppy secures the third base and starting to run away with all the money.
Yeah, he really is. Oh god, the tank is gonna get taken out once again. No more tanks remaining here for Azure. GG gets called, and Peppy takes game number 3.
Wow. That was, yeah. Roaches, man. That's what happens when you go for Hellions.
Yeah, pretty much. For those who weren't here last night, we had a very similar story in the ace match between these two players last night. Azure versus Peppy. It was a different build. Azure went for a double factory blue flame all in, and he ran into a wall of roaches. And likewise here, he went for a concussive shell marauder hellbat all in, and he ran into a wall of roaches. Like Peppy, yeah. he just knows when to go for roaches by just going for them every game.
Eventually it'll work.
Eventually it'll work. Copium, mate. Copium.
But yeah, now this means that Peppy is going to be on match point. Again, our players have already qualified, so it's not the biggest of deals in the world, but it does affect the seeding, so yeah, this is, yeah.
Oh boy. Here we go. Potentially the final game of the series, or we could see an ace match after this. Oh boy, Azure, he's up against the wall. He needs to win this if he wants to bring this all the way to Glittering Ashes.
Probably going to be the last map. Or it will be the last time Azure makes that mistake. That's what I'm going with.
I hope he stops going for these all-ins, mate. I'm not he doesn't need to, but at the same time, you know what? I wouldn't blame Azure if he's like, I really just don't want to play another like 30-minute mech game, you know?
Yeah, I don't blame him either. I'm with him on that one. Anyway, regardless, we shall be continuing our best of 5 series here, our lower bracket finals. On Hotwire LE, we're of course in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, starting all the way in the bottom left. We have a blue Terran player coming down from the land of Brisbane. He is of course the Prince of Brisbane, representing Opus V, and he is looking to vie for that #1 King of Brisbane spot once again by making it to the same group as Oreo, potentially. I'm not really sure how that works out. Regardless, he is Azure.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Hardwire LE, we have, oh my god, the Australian Zerg player going for a gas pool opener. My god, I'll be honest, last season, I don't remember Peppy being this aggressive. Jesus Christ. We have the Australian Zerg player representing Opus V. I already said his name. He only needs one more win to move on as the #2 seed. It is Peppy.
Might as well. He's on the ace match. Or on match point, not the ace match.
I love how Demi showed up in the chat and he's like, am I watching Peppy or Mio Micah? Like, again, Peppy has just been crazy these qualifiers. He's really kind of turned over a new leaf when it comes to how he approaches some of these games. And he's finding a lot of success with it. None the ZvZ, but I mean, you know.
Yeah, like that's ZvZ. It's worked in ZvP and ZvT, so.
Boy,
I'm talking about Millennia. Is that another table tennis player?
Yuri, let's go. No. I believe it's an Elden Ring boss. That Azure, like I think he spent like a week on it, and I don't think he ever killed it. Correct me on that. I'm pretty sure he beat it in the end. But he had a very, very hard time. Oh.
As hard as Peppy, or?
Peppy is pretty hard. Oh my god. He's going one face right. Let's go!
SCV was completely barred from entry, but the Reaper does scout it in the end here. Super important for Azure. This was what he was missing all those times where he lost in this build.
Yeah. Every single time he missed scouting the lair, but here we go. Azure goes in with his Reaper. He gets a very early scout and he sees everything, mate. We even may see Peppy cancel the Roach Warren once the Reaper is forced back.
If the Reaper is forced back, I know it's forced back. I thought that was a cancel when I heard the sound, but apparently not.
And Azure, he double checks and he confirms it wasn't canceled. Oh my god, Burrow? We have Burrow on the way, and what was the purpose of the lair as well?
Belial, your constitution.
I guess. Question mark? the Burrow makes sense because like you can be very annoying with your Burrow micro. It's basically like a Protoss player having Blink. You just unburrow your Roach, it stays alive, it regens health, and you reburrow and it comes back up. But the lair really threw me off. This is looking like 3-point. Is this gonna be a Spire follow-up? No, he's going for a Dropper Lord.
Huh.
Oh my god. He's
well,
crazy.
That's definitely one way.
I mean, there's a Marine patrolling because I'm sure Azure thought it was gonna be a Nidus.
Little did he know, we do have a tank getting set up here in the high ground. Azure, very good vision with this Marine. Was able to confirm what was coming his way. Forced to drop a couple of these Roaches now. In fact, he's going to lose everything in this run.
The Dropper Lord gets cleaned up. There is no way up into this base. Azure heavily fortified in the main base. I love this. He didn't even attempt to defend on the low ground of Peppy. He still has a couple of Roaches left, and he will try to find a way in, but no cigar. He only has 3 Roaches remaining here. He lost so many as they were in that Dropper Lord.
And losing that completely unnecessarily as well. Peppy forced to go all the way back to the drawing board. What does he utilize his lair for now?
Yeah, that's the thing. It was so weird to go for the Dropper Lord like that, especially because he already got scouted. But I guess he was trying to adapt to the situation. He didn't want to overcommit to a Nidus because he knew it wouldn't work because it all got scouted. So just went for a Dropper Lord instead. He is getting a third base behind this, so he is attempting to transition. He's droning up as best he can, and oh, we see a scan.
Yeah, just making sure that he knows what
Fire,
tech he's
mate.
going for.
I'm telling
Peppy
you.
just waiting for. It
Oh!
should be.
He goes for the hydrogen instead.
Whoa! What a bait!
What?
What a bait and switch coming up here. What's this drone doing? It was a distraction. Is what it was.
I'm pretty sure the drone was supposed to be for Aspire, but Peppy, mate, you never know what he's doing, mate. You can never see him come, and he just pivots around and goes to something else. What? Is this Miyamika going for a Hydra push? Miyamika's the only one who ever did this in this matchup.
Correction, Miyamika was the only one who ever had success with that.
True. True. It's been so long since I've seen this, but yeah, Roach Hydra speed is on the way. You can hit a timing with this. Again, I highly recommend tuning into some of the VODs of Miyamika on our YouTube channel. Hydra timing can hit just before like there's critical mass of tanks, and I mean, again, it is very committed. It's very all in because you're doing this without link speed, but then he gets scattered.
Let's go.
Oh my god. He's going for infestors, or maybe just straight lurkers. I don't know. I don't know what he's doing.
Well, it won him Curious Minds, isn't it? So yeah, may as well throw it in once again. Muscular Augment still a little bit of a ways off here for Peppy, but he's still reinforcing across the map as soon and as large as possible.
Okay, like, again, if this was Miyamika, I 100% believe this would have been for infestors, for fungals. Like, that's your splash damage, that's your AoE. But because it's Peppy, like, again, and because lurkers are you know, in the meta, why not go for a hive? But we'll see. Swarm host!
What?
What is happening right now? I don't know.
Peppy's just having fun.
I don't know.
He knows he's in the lead.
I don't know where we're going, mate. It's crazy.
Look.
Banshee comes in. There is no anti-air. There's a single queen. We don't have cloak, but it doesn't even matter. The Banshee dealing so much damage. It's gonna get in for a scout. He saw the infestation bit. He even gets a glimpse of the swarm hosts.
Man, if only we had Hydras here to deal with the Banshees, right?
Busy clearing out rocks.
Apparently not. Yeah.
Oh my god.
And it's definitely a little bit questionable, especially meeting in the middle of the map like this with all these swarm hosts.
The command, the swarm hosts get caught out. Mate, not like this.
Huh. Immediately he calls GG, and now we're going to a race match.
Never let him know what your next move is, mate, you know?
Yeah, what was that old saying? If I don't know what I'm doing, my opponent won't know either.
Don't know what you're doing, you're dead, mate.
Yeah.
That was crazy. That was actually insane, mate. Just the twists and turns that we were taking ultimately led us to nothing. I thought Peppy was gonna tap out as soon as his hydrogen got scanned, but obviously he had another plan. What did we just watch?
It's like the second somebody made the comparison of Peppy and Miyamika, Peppy just subconsciously doubled down on it. Yeah, it defies all conventions. It defies all the tech paths that, you know, Zerg would normally want to go down in a ZvT, right? But I'm still trying to wrap my head around that. And now we're going into game number 5, the final map of the series. It's
Yeah.
Are we gonna get a reverse of what happened yesterday?
We'll see. We'll see. I mean, as you said, I think you were correct. Where you're like, I think Peppy's just having fun. You know, like he had an initial plan, and then he just kind of tried to adjust awkwardly in a sporadic manner, and things ended up in a really weird place. But I think he's going to take this a little bit more seriously. I don't like, again, that game that we just saw, game 4, was an anomaly, and I don't think we're going to see that again.
Yeah. What if we see it again, but it worked this time? That'll be an even bigger anomaly. As we come in to conclude this best of 5 now, as we go into Glittering Ashes LE, mate. And we call it Glittering Ashes because of the ashes of the cricket. It glitters because it's gold. It's gold. In the top right hand corner of the map, spawning all the way in the top right hand corner, we're going to be getting our blue Terran player. Coming down from that land of Brisbane. He's a Prince of Brisbane. Going to be representing Team Opus V. He is Azure.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Glittering Ashes LE. Oh, with the wonderful cool cat in his main base, we have the Australian Zerg player representing Opus V. It is Peppy. Briefly losing his mind in the previous game.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's been able to. Hopefully he has been able to return to a sane place. Hopefully everything's okay. There's no long-term damage
To the brain area.
That was crazy. That was crazy. Even me and Micah wouldn't have gone that far. Even me and Micah wouldn't have gone for Swarm Host in that scenario, you know? Like, he has a plan. Peppy, he was just playing off the cuff, you know? Crazy.
Did he have a plan, though? Maybe he did. Maybe he thought he would bamboozle Azure just left and right, but Azure cannot be bamboozled whatsoever.
Man, he's been
forged in the flames.
I was gonna say the same thing.
Demi, Gogo, Joey, and Ender.
Yeah.
And Mio Micah. All 4 of them.
The Zerg Meter Triangle, mate. That is where Azure kind of earned his stripes. You cannot bamboozle him, not as a Zerg player, mate. He's seen it all. He has seen it all. It has scarred him for life. And we'll see. We'll see if he's able to overcome that here in the ace match. This could still go either way. We're tied up 2-2. It all ends here.
Yeah, I think... Wait, was it confirmed already? So I was reading a little bit of what Oreo was saying in the chat, and I believe that no matter what, both Azure and Peppy will be in the same group, but
will they?
With Pez, I might have misread that, or I might be doing the math wrong.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have a look at the groups after this anyway.
Look,
yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, but still, the seeding will affect who their first opponent is in that group. So
yeah, it will. It will. No, there's still value to be had here, so we'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, my brain needs to recalibrate as well after after that last game. Okay, we're in a standard game. No, we have a third CC before starport, macro opener. Let's go.
All right, I can understand this a little bit better.
Oh god, beautiful, mate, beautiful. I like how Sando in the chat. I thought he was trying to be a pirate. Nah, mate, he was trying to be Aussie.
Ruin.
I mean, it's very fitting. Like, I hope someone is able to show this VOD to NXZ, because NXZ, he has been playing again, and I'm sure it's going to warm his heart to hear that, you know, he never left the scene. He's been here on this channel the entire time.
Not sure this VOD. Should have VOD from yesterday.
Show it all. Show him all of it. Show it all.
Just show it all.
Oh god. As once again, we do have Azure going for again faster CC, but going into a 1-1-1, going into Cloak Banshees, and I do like this, especially because Peppy has been a Roach boy this entire day. No surprise, he's going Roaches once again, and this time he's going to have to contend with Banshees.
Yeah, Azure finally kind of making that little adjustment here, just making sure that he's as safe as can be. And we're getting to some pretty normal Terran openings right now, but what I'm still curious about, Light, is will Azure pull out Mech again? Because he hasn't committed yet either direction.
We are on Glittering
Oh,
Ashes.
okay, that's them.
We do have Stim. I was about to say that this is the best map for mech. It is quite large, but there's also like a lot of space and area in between all these bases. There's a lot of avenues of attack, so it's kind of difficult to turtle up like a way a mech player would like to. So it does make sense for Azure to go into Bio, and we'll see if he's going to be able to pull off this Biotank style against Peppy.
Yeah, hopefully we'll even get there. For a second, I was looking at the Hellions in the middle of the map. I thought, oh, does Azure, want to consolidate his forces, get the Banshees together? But no, he is multi-pronging it up.
Yeah, he gets in, he gets 2 drone kills in the end. Not bad for this Banshee. He also keeps it alive, which is pretty important. Again, Banshees also have their role against these roach-based compositions, which Azure has confirmed. So yeah, in case Peppy ever wants to go for a counterattack, he will have to contend with these units in the sky.
Yeah, Queens is definitely going to help a little bit, especially now that the Overseer is up and running. The wall! It's a wall. Okay.
Yo, Peppy treating this like a ZvP. I love it. You do this against Glaive Adepts to deny the shade. He does the same thing here against the Hellions, not wanting another repeat of our previous game with that massive Korean barbecue.
That was 26 dead drones and one Hellion attack. That was...
Yeah. Yo, like, I'm clipping that.
I'm clipping that for personal use.
I'm gonna save that for later, mate. Let's go. Oh, gosh. Meanwhile, some decent damage here. Oh, the Queens are kind of being caught off creep. They have to be so careful with how they maneuver. If they're off creep, they cannot transfuse.
I almost forgot that for a second, yeah, but it does mean that you have to be much more careful here with the Queens and maneuver them around. Not much more damage can really be dealt by the Banshees here, but Azure, he's keeping the army back. Yeah, whatever he can.
Exactly, he's just keeping Peppy busy. He's getting another drone. Forces. Oh my god, that was a kill, I think? Not a cancel on that spore.
That's like a 3rd dead drone.
Oh.
And a little bit difficult to maneuver behind the main on Glittering Ashes, so Banshees will go down, but their time has kind of passed. Azure looking to free up some more supply for his Bioforce.
Yeah, exactly. We have our double engineering base for 1-1. 1-1 is already done. 2-2 is a little bit not quite on the way. Feels bad, man, for that one SCV. Get out, Peppy, get out. Close the lower the
Can't
depot.
Leave.
Lower
one
it.
depot was lowered, but it wasn't the one.
Oh god. As interesting, Peppy went starting off with roaches, going into Roachling Bane, and now transitioning into Hydras. I'm curious how he's going to use this, because throughout the entire series today, and even yesterday, I don't think I've seen Peppy go Lurkers before. Has he?
Not once, yeah. I think we actually made note of that yesterday, where we felt that Peppy prefers to go to things like, roaches and Ravagers or Mutiling Bane, as opposed to Lurkers at any capacity.
Yeah, I remember him going Master Muta one game, but there's the first time for everything. Hive is on the way, as well as a Lurker den. So I was curious to see if maybe Peppy was stuck in his old ways, like, your old mate Ben, like Crimson and Mighty Kiwi, not really not really adapting to the new style, but no, yeah, he is embracing the new meta with Lurkers.
Yeah, and I guess we'll see how well he has been able to adapt to this. Again, Azure, I think we mentioned this earlier today as well. You got to give the late game to Terran in a TVZ. And Azure is one of the better ghost controllers in the region, IMO.
Yeah, we'll see if he can get there, because for the time being, he's still stuck with Biotank. 2-2 is on the way, he's on top of his upgrades. But looking at his vision, he hasn't scouted the tech transition. He doesn't know. I think he has seen some of the Hydras with his Banshees earlier, but again, he just isn't aware that Lurkers are already being made. Lair tech Lurkers, essentially. Without the upgrades, it's scan season!
Yeah, now he sees the transition coming down. He needs to make sure that he's got all his tank siege up. These are vanilla Lurkers, so they're not as good against Biotank as they could be, and they're especially not good against tanks.
Oh, exactly. They do not find their way down this ramp into that entire bio army. At the same time, do have a single drop here on the right-hand side of the map. Again, not the most threatening drop, but he trades decently well. So shaves off some lings.
He doesn't lose any of his marines. He draws the entire army back, and now he can leapfrog his tanks forward. He has the high ground now.
Yes, he does, but the creep still hasn't been dealt with. At the same time, Peppy is moving out through the center of the map. Oh my god, barely avoiding the army.
Oh! Actually, a little funny to witness there. Alright, there's a little bit of detection here, so the planetary fortress will be able to deal with some of the lurkers, but what about the Ling Bane coming out from this direction?
Yeah, we'll see though, because mate, every single lurker just went down at the same time. The wall is not a wall. The Lings flood in. The Baneling's gonna be flooding in as well.
They're gonna try.
They're gonna try.
The SPVs in hold position are providing a really nice little wall there, but they do get taken out eventually. These lurkers don't have much of a buffer, but there's still 5 of them. Very good start stepping from Azure, but he's taking a few too many casualties in that engagement.
Yeah, and after all said and done, I kind of want to favor Azure a little bit there. Looking at the units lost tab, 10 lurkers just fell. And those are pretty hefty losses, not gonna lie. The other surprising thing to me, okay, Adaptive Talents hasn't been researched. We still don't have lurker range, so we're lacking a little bit in the upgrades. Peppy, he's gonna be able to rebuild his army, but I don't know how I feel about throwing away lurkers like that, not gonna lie.
Yeah, I think Peppy definitely came out of that economically better, but as you said, he traded very, very inefficiently. He's very vulnerable for quite some time. It's going to take him a long time to, 1, get enough gas to get Hydras, 2, get Hydras, 3, get enough gas to get Lurkers, 4, get Lurkers.
Yeah, he does have the majority of his gases saturated, and again, gas is kind of the name of the game here for Peppy. He's going to be working on another big push, but Azure, he is stabilizing, you know, he's getting his sensor towers up and running, he's getting his planetaries, his tanks in position. I just worry because the lurkers have been revealed for a while now, and Azure hasn't gone into libs, he hasn't thrown down a Ghost Academy. Oh wait, no, he has, just no Ghost production yet.
Huh. Nukes? Potentially?
we still need ghosts for that, but we need ghosts.
Yes, but nukes. Oh, sure, it's maxed out right now, so yeah, he's just... Regardless, he's gonna have to clear up a little bit of some supply. He does take out this base, and he will sacrifice the Marines, but that's exactly what he wanted to do, so he can clear up supply to get more Marines.
Exactly. Meanwhile, another base here towards the south does get sniped. 2 hatcheries gone in the blink of an eye, and this is detrimental. Why? Because Peppy doesn't have a massive gas bank. We were talking about it earlier. When you're going mass Hydra lurker like this, gases are so important, and losing 2 mining bases like this is huge.
Yeah, I'm just looking at all the poor lost larvae without a base to really call home, and I guess it is important to note now that a lot of the bases of Peppy have been mined out for quite some time. And those bases that Peppy, that Azure took out were the free lurker. Yep. It's such a vulnerable base to defend as well because of the close proximity to tanks.
Yeah, I'm terrified, mate. I just checked the units tab. We have 4 lurkers in total here for Peppy. 4 lurkers. That is the backbone of his army. But he has a little Bane. And mate, oh my god, there's just so many tanks. He just can't push in.
So many tanks. It's such a good choke point. 15 more drones go down. And we're at the point where Azure just doesn't care about the lurkers anymore. He's stimming Marines onto lurkers because, man, he has the advantage there.
We are down to 0 lurkers. Lingbane Hydra Viper is what Peppy is working with at the moment, and he's going to go for a full surround.
Once again, the Blinding Cloud's really saving the life of this army of Peppy right now, really being a massive detriment to Azure. But Azure still kiting back very, very well. Does lose the entire army here eventually, but that could have gotten a lot worse for him. Meanwhile, behind all of this, more bases of Peppy are being taken out, more drones are being killed. So, yeah, Azure can afford 1 or 2 more, you know, inefficient trades like that.
Yeah, Azure is the one on 4 bases fully mining. Peppy is the one who just keeps on losing hatcheries. Azure, he was getting ready to just snipe another base, by the way, but he was surprised to see that there was no base. Peppy trying to double expand, trying to get his bases back up and running. But Azure, he just maxed out. Peppy, still on the road to recovery.
Yeah, he's fixed his gas problem. Now he's down in minerals.
Yeah, I mean, his worker count is just, he has less workers than Azure. That's crazy.
Yeah, and that's without even factoring all the mules.
Exactly. Meanwhile, Azure, he's just taking another base because why the hell not? What's important is that Peppy has recognized his weakness. He's rebuilding all those lurkers. He's going to be having 10 to work with, so mate, that's a lot of lurkers. And this will make it difficult for Azure to push in, especially because, again, Azure, he is really stubborn about making ghosts. He has made a couple, don't get me wrong, but he only has 2, and he's maxed out.
Yeah, that's nowhere near enough. 1 EMP on the Vipers. After a single EMP on the Vipers, I think that's maxed, I don't know, 4 snipes at most.
Yeah, meanwhile, questionable spells here with these Vipers. He does get some parasitic bombs. Now the Vipers are out of energy. They're gonna take a little bit of time to regather that when maybe we need more blinding clouds like earlier.
They saw the ghosts, decided they didn't want to get EMP'd, so...
There's only 2 ghosts, puppy. There's only 2.
That's my rationale.
Ay, ay, ay. Meanwhile, these Vipers are left idle. They are not regathering that energy. Honestly, this is pretty crucial. Like, Vipers are so important right now when you're going Ling Bane Lurker Viper like this. Meanwhile, Azure, he's just fine looking for another base to try and snipe.
The Vipers are moving in with no energy!
Get suck on some buildings, puppy! Suck! Suck!
But even if he sucks on this hatchery, then I think that... Would that be in range of a tank?
From the low ground here, it would be. It would be.
Okay, so not the biggest deals.
Meanwhile, Azure, he's just waiting for a couple more upgrades. Neo Steel Frames on the way. We have double Spire for Peppy, so it looks like he wants to transition into Broodlords.
And it'd be a really good transition against specifically Bio Tank. Once again, not enough, barely anything in the sky right now for Azure. Not enough ghosts either to really be a threat.
Oh boy, we'll see if it's going to be enough because now he's going for it. We do have a couple of lurkers, but they're left exposed once again. Not like this, puppy. The lurkers and the Vipers.
Throw down a blinding cloud, but I mean that's not particularly useful against the Bio here. Base goes down.
The army of Peppy is trying to respond at the same time. The majority of his forces are here trying to deal with the drop, but the hatchery still goes down. And the lurkers are just chilling here in the middle of the map. Uh-oh. He can keep going! No! Peppy!
Yeah. He solved the issue of not having enough lurkers. Hasn't really solved the issue of, you know, utilizing the workers.
Yeah,
Lurker.
they're just not in position. The second hatchery goes down. Peppy barely has any mining. We have another drop here into the natural base. Finally, Peppy on borrows, but no, the lurkers are getting sniped one after another.
How does that happen
How?
with Stim Bio? GG is called after it's all said and done, and Azure will reverse his fortune yesterday and take that series 3-2. Coming up second, I believe, in ANZ Champs. Second seed, to clarify.
GG, well played. Congratulations to Azure. It went all the way to the ace match, and Azure, he gets his revenge. He got taken out in a best of 5 last night by Peppy, but here he is the one coming out on top. And as you said, Azure does get that second seed.
And now they're all in there.
Oh.
It's man, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It almost feels like Peppy was playing really solid in the first 3 games, and then game 4 onwards just completely lost his mind.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, to be fair, it has been a long weekend of StarCraft, and it could be an endurance thing, it could be a stamina thing where Peppy just kind of ran out of steam, you know? Like, there's been a lot of StarCraft going on, and yeah, I wouldn't blame him if that was the case. I'm concerned though because here in this late game, like kind of standard game, he was being pulled apart. Like it did feel like he was lacking here against Azure, and this is something that he needs to tighten up. Especially because like Azure didn't have the most efficient army either. Like again, he didn't really. If we had a head-on-head engagement, I don't think Azure would have had a great shot just because he did lack all those ghosts. He didn't have a good answer for lurkers if the lurkers were accompanied by Ling Bane. But every single fight, I'm pretty sure the lurkers were exposed on their own. Like that's why Azure could keep killing them. Like it just happened time and time again.
That's exactly what it was. You don't normally see bio sniping lurkers like that, and that's because lurkers usually have a really good buffer.
Yeah. You know, they need their boys. You know, they can't be on their own like that. They cannot be left isolated.
A fun fact for you here, like Peppy made 158 workers, drones, the entire game. So many of them just kept dying.
Gee, we didn't even have a juicy barbecue. It was just constant drops, constant counterattacks.
Yeah. No juicy barbecues, but plenty of few little consistent snacks in between.
There you go, mate. There you go. And with that, congratulations to our top 4 players. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you want to have a look at the bracket yourselves. I'm just going to quickly see if the Wikipedia page has been updated here, as we do have our confirmed players moving on.
We do. I mean, we've had our confirmed players for a while now, but yeah, I guess they haven't decided on what the groups are going to look like yet. There is a guideline, but yeah, I'm confused as to what the guideline is going to look like. Yes. I refuse to do math.
Why don't you at least tell the players who qualified and who they are going to be meeting as well in that main event, our top 8 players.
Our top 8 players, 4 from the qualifiers, are going to be in order of seeding: Oreo, Azure, Peppy, and Starduck, going off to face Piglet, Seetha, Probe, and either Pez or Tez, depending on his feeling.
Pez or Tez, let's go. So plenty of players there. The best that Australia and New Zealand have to offer are going to be on full display.
Kiwis, though.
Exactly. The best Australia and New Zealand have to offer are going to be on full display in ANZ Champs. Looking at our wonderful calendar, it is going to be in a couple of weeks. As I quickly confirm here, it is going to be on the 14th of May. So mark it on your calendars, 14th and 15th. It's going to be 2 days of StarCraft. Very long days of StarCraft as well. I believe they're going to be like 10 to 11 hour casts. Oh, oh boy. It's going to be a lot of casting. That's
how it goes.
Yeah.
Welcome to the qualifiers.
Welcome to the main event, mate. What are you on about? So yes, ANZ Champs is going to be on the 14th of May. I will be casting it. I may as well just say it here. It shouldn't be a surprise. I've been casting the past couple of seasons of ANZ Champs. I'm not too sure who I will be joined by. Whether, I mean, I imagine it's going to be Pig and Pilski, maybe Maynard as well. I'm not too sure how they're going to fill out that roster. I also don't know if they're going to be brutal to us and just have 2 casters each day, because mate, an 11-hour day, mate, we give us someone to rotate with, you know. I just Tanosu, if you're in the chat, give us 3 casters, please, at least 3.
They're gonna press fluke into casting this season.
I'm gonna force him to cast, mate. If it's only 2 casters for the entire day, shaking my head, mate, shaking my head. We're going to be destroyed. So yes, ANZ Champs is going to be in a couple of weeks. Before ANZ Champs, DreamHack Valencia qualifiers are this week. This coming week for every single region: Taiwan, Hong Kong, China, Europe, North America, Oceania, rest of Asia. Every single region is going to be having their qualifiers, and they're all going to be here on this channel.
Yeah. Next week onwards, so of course we're going to be focusing a lot on the whatchamacallit. So we're going to be focusing a lot on C/OCE, Taiwan, Hong Kong, China, and Latin America. But we're also gonna, if we can spare the time and the manpower, also going to be doing NA. Well, actually, we're more incentivized to do NA this time. NA and EU.
Yeah, for the past 2 years, we've always been casting every single region except for EU, because even for NA, like, we're always there to cheer. Like, last season, we were there to cheer for Paddy Mac, our boy, as well as all our other boys as well. Like, there are plenty of great North American players out there. We're going to be there to cheer for Vindicta, our latest CranKy Duckling. So yeah, plenty of StarCraft to be had on this channel, and we're not done for the day. This morning we casted ESL Asia, now we casted ANZ Champs. In 11 hours, we are going to be live once again with NA Apprentice. We were just talking about Vindicta. We're not casting his group, but we're going to be casting a tournament that he's involved in. Shout out to Sugar. He is kind of the man behind North American StarCraft. Without him, it wouldn't be possible.
Not at all. And
with that, Yaku, are you still with me? Are you good?
I need to be really bad.
Fair enough. Yaku, where can people find more of you? Who are you, Yaku? Who are you?
Who am I? You're not my therapist, but I am over at twitch.tv/Yakuzaku1. That is where I stream. I'll try to stream next week. I do want to stream something tomorrow evening. I'll try to stream consistently throughout May. Well, I say consistently, but I don't have a schedule, so I'll figure something out. Actually, May is worse. May is the worst month to stream.
Oh.
Now that I'm looking at the regionals, and never mind what I said. I'll try to stream. Twitch.tv/Yakuzaku1. Twitter.com @EmporeYakuzaku. ! Discord in chat. You find myself, Light is there, Kuro is there, Oreo and Starduck are there. Everybody is there. Vindicta is there. All of us CranKy Ducklings, and Steel Mold is there. There just knows Steel in the chat here as well.
Yeah, Steel. He
He
was in the chat. I also want to give a shout out to Azure because he's letting us know what the groups are. So we can see Group A, Piglet versus Starduck, and Oreo versus Probe. Oh, Group A is pretty stacked, mate.
It's not confirmed. But that's most likely what it is.
Yeah, Group B, Seether versus Peppy, Pez versus Azure. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what we were expecting, right? This is ANZ Champs. This is a code S. This is best of the best. It would be very surprising to have a group that wasn't a group of death, right?
Yeah,
if the groups would stack, then you might as well call it ANZ Champs.
I mean, obviously we're a little bit biased. In Group A, we would love to see Oreo and Starduck come out on top, but it's going to be a tough road for them. Piglet is the ANZ champ. He is, I would say, the favorite of the entire tournament. Can anyone stop him? Can Oreo stop him? Can Starduck stop him? Can Probe stop him? We'll find out on the 14th of May. On top of that, Probe, I believe he's also been practicing as well. Obviously, Probe hasn't been the most active person. He hasn't been the most active player, but in the lead up to ANZ Champs, he will be taking it seriously and he will be looking to be informed.
Yeah, he's already been doing a couple of customs, laddering quite a bit in the past couple of weeks and months. So yeah, I'm curious to see, where he'll sort of stand in here. I know he has said that he wants to take a little bit of a backseat, focus more on YouTube, focus more on streaming, but he's still very formidable, so
yeah. He really is. He's a terrifying player. Terrifying. Oh boy. And of course, Group B is going to be insane as well. Peppy and Azure, we may have another rematch. It may go all the way to the ace match again. Pez may be featuring his Terran. He may be turning into Tez at some point in that group. Seether, old mate Sheldon, is also kind of the old guard, part of the old guard, but also just an incredibly insane player. Somehow, a player without any practice can make top 2. Like, he's insane.
Arguably does better when he doesn't practice.
Yeah.
So he practices, he overthinks.
True. So, again, a very, very spicy lineup. And thank you so much, everyone, for watching. We really appreciate it. Follow us on social media if you enjoyed our cast and if you want more of it. Follow us here on the Twitch channel. We are live throughout the week. And we are not done with this broadcast yet. Yes. Someone in the chat, ARJ Skater, did redeem a replay cast. He submitted a ladder game for us to cast, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing. after this break.
Yes. I think he has gone to bed now, but
He'll watch the
joke's
VOD.
on you. He'll watch the
He'll
VOD.
watch. It's fine. It's fine. Do you have anything you want to say before we cut to break?
Got to break now, please. I gotta go.
Thanks for watching, everyone. If you just want Pro StarCraft, we are done for now, so you can head off. If you want to stick around for a more chill, laid-back replay cast of an amateur player, then stick around. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna take a load off. We'll see you guys in 5 minutes. Ciao.
Bella.